Mayor Gordon by defeating that percentage, as we all know. So, Chris, I think you have one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to put on another hat involving the election board. What type of machine are we going to be looking at casting our ballot? And Frank, I'll just pass on an experience I had in voting, which I thought was kind of strange and made me a bit uncomfortable. You know, when we used the optical scanner, the vote was supposed to be in a sheath. They took it out. Well, when I turned it in, rather than put it into a ballot or something, they pulled it out of the sheath and looked at it to make sure that, you know, that I guess I checked all the spots. And I'm thinking, well, you know, so much for a secret ballot, you know. And then I heard other stories of similar complaints. I guess the one concern I have is those ballots are still going to have to be manually taken back to the election board and counted. And what guarantees do we have that they'll be secure, that there won't be any tampering? And what do you think we'll have any equipment problems?
Didn't you just vote for the pencils that you have to actually shave? Isn't that what you guys?
We're going to give everyone a knife and a pencil. No, the machines that we should have, now the commissioners have yet to act. They have their meeting this Thursday, but the machines that we should have are made by ES&S. They're actually one of the largest vendors around. They have a great track record. And they actually were the company that we worked with this past spring. And despite some of the concerns you raised, which were concerns I had, and why we're not going into this fall without having scanners in the precinct, operationally, everything went very smoothly. ES&S really delivered. They came through. I did not vote in favor of switching for March. But we did switch, and ES&S, the vendor, their feet were held to the fire by our staff and by our director, but they did come through. So we're with that same vendor. That provides some continuity. We, as a board, we already know how this system works. Now, the big difference is when you go to vote, just like in March, you're going to have a sheet of paper and you're going to fill in the bubbles. But unlike what Chris experienced, where they said, oh, look at that, you voted for Stephen Jones. Yeah, then you voted. No, none of that. The way you're going to make sure that everything was filled in properly is you're going to feed it into a scanner that's right there. It has a very easy readout. It'll spit it back out and tell you there was a problem with that. Then you can get a different, a clean ballot, a fresh ballot from the poll workers to do that. It sounds great in theory. It actually does work well in a lot of Ohio counties and some pretty large counties around the country. Now, when it reads right, it goes into a locked metal ballot box. Not a paper ballot box with a couple of pieces of tape over it. It goes into a locked metal ballot box. Now, just like always, yes, the poll workers still have to open up that ballot box, count how many are in there, count how many signatures they have, and reconcile that. So there are human hands touching those, and that's why we need, more than anything, if you do one thing, we need poll workers. We need Republicans who will help serve their community and serve our party by working as a poll worker, because we need trustworthy people in there who are keeping an eye on the other side. So they make sure that count was right. The difference from spring is, okay, so those pieces of paper go on downtown. What happens if some get lost, or somebody tries some monkey business, or just somebody gets lost on the way there? Well, we have a triple redundancy. We have the paper, or double redundancy. We have triple record. The double redundancy is we have a memory card that goes with the paper ballots. The memory card is actually what's uploaded on election night. We don't rescan the ballots downtown on election night. Just upload the memory card from the scanners. But if somebody did do something and they hacked into that memory card and they made it match by putting extra sheets of paper or changed ballots in the stacks, you can always go back to the precinct itself. There's a flash drive there. That's the double redundancy. So we have two electronic records of exactly what was on the ballots that were scanned at the precinct. It's a very secure system. It's my belief that, first of all, we got two very competitive bids in switching. And this particular bid is the one that's going to let us transition to the latest technology early next year. We're going to be the first Ohio county that's going to be on the newest technology. Currently, only a few Florida counties have this newest technology that we'll get. It would be my hope that 4 years out, when we come up on the next presidential election, on John McCain's re-election, or some say he won't run, he'll just be bow and he'll do one and then he'll hand it on to his VP. But when we come up for that 2012 election, that we'll be using that system that we've now purchased and we'll be transitioning